It is January 16, that's 1/6/2020, Thursday, and the time is now 7:31 a.m. I just had some thoughts as I'm taking this shower. This is going to be about the royal family of Britain. Now, I did a video about the family as it pertains to Harry and Meghan. This is as it pertains to the House of Windsor. You have a family, a very established family. They are head of the Anglican Church. In fact, for Princess Meghan to marry into the family, she had to convert from the denomination she belonged to, if she did belong to a Christian group already, to this new one of the Anglican Church. Okay? Now, is this royal family so religious? What is the Anglican Church? What do they stand for? I question what it really stands for. Because in my opinion, there is nothing godly about this family, about how they run things. Godliness is not just about wearing long skirts and your blouses buttoned up all the way to the neck. That is not godliness in itself. How you hold your fork and knife is not godliness. But it may be nice table manners. What is the Anglican Church? And why do they have it? What does it really stand for? I ask myself these questions as it pertains to the current stories that is plaguing the House of Windsor and its members, its households. You have a country that is being plagued with what they call grooming gangs. Grooming gangs. These are individuals who go around and prey on young females and rape them and force them into prostitution. Grooming gangs. And there is a racial component to it. Who are the racial and religious component to it? They're primarily targeting the white women, the British women, who are non-Muslim, and those women who are Muslim, but they don't belong to a particular branch of Islam. They too are targeted. And those are usually other people of color. So whites and non-Europeans are being victimized by these grooming gangs, as they're called. And these people who are doing the violations are foreign nationals mostly. And they are being allowed to do this. Also to know, which is greatly known in Britain, that you have individuals who are pedophiles. And what they do, they learn the system. And they learn that if they live on a boat and they dock at different locations at specific times. See, there's a time period. See, if you live on the sea, on the water, and if you don't live there for a certain amount of time, you're not considered a resident of that town or district. And so they learn the time frame that would permit this to not be considered a resident of that location. And that if you are accused of pedophilia, you don't have to register at that place because you don't live there, technically. And they encourage young children. They go to the poor. They go to these things, these outreach to help the underprivileged. And they invite them on the boat. And then they do things to these poor children and traumatize them and violate them. And you have the authorities, detectives, who know about these rings, and they can't do a damn thing about it because who these individuals are. And their hands are tied. So you have a knowledge out there. The authorities know what's going on. Okay? And then you have, again, the royals. Now, everything that goes on in her domain, her queendom, she has knowledge of. These things, these incidences that happen in that country is rampant. Yet she's a queen, she's a woman, she's a great-grandmother. Yet she is not stopping these episodes as a woman, as a great-grandmother, to stop this perversion and sickness in her country. Furthermore, with the Windsors, with Harry and Meghan, they recently, about a week ago, put a notice in social media that they want to step down from the major duties of being a royal. They don't want those duties anymore. They're stepping down, or at least in a minimal capacity of duties, royal duties for the Queen. Now, I commend them to make that statement. They should have gone directly to her and tell her that. That would have been professional. But they didn't do it. They did it the other way. But there may have been a reason why they did it that way. And it could have been that somebody else, that the information got leaked, and they didn't want that outlet to be the one to release the information. So they hastily put it out on social media, Harry and Meghan, so that the outlet won't divulge information first. Okay? Again, I don't know definitively, but that's what I heard. Something to that effect. Now, Harry and Meghan, they have information. Harry was born in this system. Meghan is new in this system. They've known each other for about, 2 years now? About 2 years, 2.5 years at the most. They may be experiencing things behind the scenes. Again, what happened to Princess Diana? She too saw things behind the scenes. And that was many years ago. Again, she was engaged when she was a teenager. She was a teenager, and by the time the wedding occurred, she just turned 20. She didn't really have any real experience about the world, the finances, and how to support yourself. I mean, she had housemates before she married, but it's housemates really to, as a witness that she's not out and about with men. And she knew that she was supposed to remain a virgin because she knew and she was groomed to marry a high official of the royal family. She marries at 20. And unfortunate, her husband, Prince Charles, was having an affair with a married woman with a child, who has a child. Princess Diana found out about the affair, and even at the day of the wedding, she sees Camilla, the mistress, at her wedding in the church. And she was saying, Princess Diana was saying in an interview how she felt sick into her stomach when she saw her. So even from the very beginning, she knew there was trouble ahead. When Princess Diana and Prince Charles, as time went on and they had their 2 children together, she had to go to a counseling session with her husband. And guess who with? With a pervert by the name of Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile was a TV personality in his day and is a known pedophile. He would get jobs. He wanted to get a job, or he did get a job volunteering at a hospital so he can get access to the corpses to have sex with. He also worked in these hospitals so he could rape the female patients. This was known, and there were documentaries that made of the people who worked at that hospital and what they witnessed and how they were frightened off to speak out. They would lose their jobs if they spoke out. Why is that? Why would they lose their job? Well, Jimmy Savile is friends with the royal family, the House of Windsor, a.k.a. Queen Elizabeth II. They're all friends. They all know each other. He was also, this Jimmy Savile, was friends with Margaret Thatcher. She was the Prime Minister of Britain. So this individual is on the inner circle of all power of Britain. And seems to suggest that he also procured sexual stuff for the House of Windsor. We hear about the Pizzagate and all these other things. They all seem to be interconnected. And so you also have, so this Jimmy Savile had to, again, as I mentioned, was used as a counselor for this young Princess Diana and Prince Charles. It was Prince Charles's friend. Now, you're royal, and you're about being the impeccable and role model. And again, you're the head of the Anglican Church. And these are the type of friends that you associate with. he definitely wasn't trying to win them over to Christ or to Jesus. What was happening? A bird and a feather flock together in my book. He would have had to have known about him. Word was out there about this Jimmy Savile. He was a major pedophile. And again, someone who also had sex with dead bodies. And this person, and according to Princess Diana, he was a real sleaze. He did look sleazy. He's now deceased, this individual, Jimmy Savile. And then, so that's Prince Charles. And then now you have Prince Andrew, who's also associated with a alleged major sex trafficker of underage girls, involved in other questionable things and people like the Clintons and in their foundation, which seems to suggest also the human trafficking of various types of people, young people. See that? And it seems like a whole network for these people. And so Prince Andrew was friends with this guy named Jeffrey Epstein, a major player in the abuse of underage girls and doing who knows what in these places, and blackmailing, extorting. There were tapes. Now, it's illegal to tape and audio. So I don't know whether it's audio, definitively audio and video. But someone as sleazy as him, most likely it's both. And this was throughout his home, and he used it against people. So this Prince Andrew, he has money. He can go and live and stay in any hotel or motel. But he decides on this place. He doesn't have other friends or connections. But see, it's downplayed. And you had witnesses about this Prince Andrew and an interview that was done with him a couple of weeks back. And it sounds very far-fetched, the things that this Prince Andrew said at this interview.
You know, I almost forgot about something else. I saw a video about a week ago, and this video was of a man, a naked man, who was climbing out the window of the residence of Queen Elizabeth II. This naked man had tied sheets and was videotaped. See, this was happening during the changing of the guards, and you had tourists who were just taping innocently the changing of the guards. And it caught people's attention about someone climbing out the window. Of course, it would get a lot of people's attention, a naked man climbing out the window with tied bed sheets. And it got him climbing down. He got down to maybe one floor, and then he slips and falls. But you know, I've never heard of any news report on who this man was. Did he survive the fall? So isn't this something that's problematic? You have people trying to escape the queen's home naked and hurriedly tries to escape out the window with bed sheets. Who was he escaping from? So these are secrets, and secrets that's actually out in the public because it was videotaped and shared over social media. Yet you never hear any news about it. Do you have people climbing out of your window in the daytime where everybody could see? This had to be something really urgent for someone to be willing to escape out the window in broad daylight where everybody could see them.
But either way, so you have a royal household, the House of Windsor, that's supposed to represent the goodliness of the Anglican Church and about what is proper. So the only thing you see is real stench that they associate with all this freakiness and sexual perversion. So Harry and Meghan may know about these things. Could you imagine you have an uncle and you have to go to social affairs and you have a young child now? It's Harry's first marriage, first child. And you got an uncle like that, and you got a father like that may have been involved in the killing of your mother, or at least covering up for who was really responsible for the killing of Harry's mom, Princess Diana. He associates with people like Jimmy Savile. You don't think he knows that? You don't think they read the newspaper, see the headlines, or watch television? You got an uncle who's friends with a major sex trafficker of young girls. Would you want to stay? Would you want to live around people like this? Would you want to live around a grandmother who knows all these things that are going on in her family and in her queendom? Such as the, what they call groomers, who are violating all these women. Don't you think Harry might be afraid for his own wife's safety? Of being kidnapped and violated by these grooming gangs? They never once talk about this thing and why they want to leave. Instead, they just call it Megxit now. So again, they're blaming a woman who's done nothing illegal. There was no scandal about her of doing anything improper. Yes, there were family feuds with her own personal family, but we all have family feuds of some type. But there was nothing illegal or illicit or improper. So she and her husband want to leave. And I think that's the smartest thing I've heard yet. Because if they stay in this so-called family, the House of Windsor, the card game is going to collapse. And it's going to collapse hard. This is just the tip of the iceberg, this House of Windsor. And when it's fully cracked open, you're going to see a bunch of maggots and filth. A queen that does not protect its queendom, its women, and children is a disgrace. You have to see through the crown, the jewels, the beautiful dresses, the protocol. You have to start looking beyond that. If it were any other family, if it was any other Joe Blow Smith family, they would have shut down a long time ago. The year 2020 is about opening your eyes and calling a spade a spade. It's about looking at power in the eye and calling it out. Call it for what it is. Call it for what it isn't. This is just food for thought. This House of Windsor is going to fall, and Harry and Meghan won out. Take care, guys.